unmute. Allow position. Okay, here's something under security. Mute themselves, unmute themselves. It's already checked as being able to unmute themselves.
Yeah, I can see you.
You are unmuted, but okay, there's Steve. I don't know.
It's interesting. It didn't ask me for a code or anything.
That's because you're the
Yeah. No?
no, you
Yeah.
it didn't ask me to let you log in either, so
And apologies if this makes noise.
Progress.
Okay.
what if I turn this unmute themselves thing off and then turn it back on? Let's see if that does something. Okay. Let's see if that worked.
Turn it back on.
Oh yeah, I gotta turn it back on. Okay, let's see if that worked.
From. I don't know.
I'll tell you, my friend does all kinds of weird stuff anymore.
Oh, I think he's actually using the client.
I know he's mentioned the client version number in the past a few times. So I got a tool. I'm really into flashlights.
I don't know, Art. I'm sorry. I don't see any particular thing.
These are $15 to $20 if you get them on Amazon. If you get them from AliExpress, they're free. Yeah. And one of my biggest complaints with all of the LED flashlights is they initially come on super bright and then you turn them down, which just seems backwards to me. This one comes on dim, which is perfect if I need to find the bathroom at night. Oops. And it remembers what setting it was on. So, yeah, dim hardly even shows. Long press turns it off. And does weird shit too. 3 clicks, turns on the side light. Yeah. Or strobe. UV. This is one failing. It's a fluorescent thing, so it glows in the dark. All that UV is being absorbed by the case right now. I mean, you hold this over a dollar bill or something, it just barely glimmers. But it also has what they call, no, that's not what they called this, an infrared LED. No. And it does that, and that's yellow for fog and police lights, because everybody needs.
Oh, everybody needs police lights. That would just get me in trouble.
I don't know how to make it stop.
Recording in progress.
That's pretty sweet.
$3 or $4. USB rechargeable. At the low setting, I think it's supposed to go something like $35. Many.
Hello? Oh, did they put like a new button or something? Cause this says tap to speak. Now I guess I have to tap to speak.
Well, it's picking you up. Oh, no, I guess that's picking you up and you're getting it back through the phone. Well, you are muted.
I was muted, but now I'm not.
I
I
still
still.
don't like the phone app. It's just-
Okay. No. See, I'm done.
Stop,
Stop, stop.
So it
It
says,
let me unmute though, and
yeah. Were you an admin?
no,
Okay,
that was my personal login from way back.
says it makes that level of light for 12 hours.
So I hate saying it, Art, but I think it's something on your end.
And it seems to be.
Just don't know what that would be.
Interesting. It was like Bofus brand or something odd. But it doesn't say anything on here about the company name.
Knockoff repair. Whether it's that
Yeah.
somebody else's production run. Gray word.
But on Amazon, if you look for EDC flashlight model V1, this is what shows up. But on Amazon, it's $15.
Of course. It's pretty funny too. I looked at those portable solar or portable welders for welding with batteries.
Mhm.
And $250 for American made.
Mm,
They're like 36 on Amazon. And you can get them for like 12, where you gotta solder them together from China. On AliExpress. It's kind of fun. And then I found this other video where he showed you how to build it all out of parts. And I probably have almost all the parts,
mhm.
except for like the little leads, which I could probably make out of an old.
Oh, you can get those at Harbor Freight.
Yeah.
They've got a spot welder.
I'll do it.
Mhm. It's a pinchy one.
That's not gonna work. So.
Well, don't buy the Harbor Freight spot welder, just buy the tips. They sell them. Like
Oh.
6 of them in a package.
Contact.
Mhm.
Something else.
Could. Makes sense. Could a firewall be blocking him from somewhere?
No,
Well, that's why I said it doesn't make sense.
This firewall you.
have you restarted your computer, Art?
He restarted,
It
he
doesn't say
left,
that.
he left and came back. But I don't know if he restarted the computer.
AI companion is online.
Ask to unmute.
Does he have a microphone hooked up?
Doesn't sound like it.
He always has,
Well, I'm just saying, as it gets to the future, like if he's got a headset or something and it's not plugged in,
Yeah.
then there's nothing to unmute. Cause my problem is I've got like 4 on my computer, so I always have to select which mic I wanna use.
so,
Mhm.
so if you go down,
Because it always defaults to my VR rig
yeah,
instead of my.
so if you
headset.
go down to the mute thing and click the arrow, you should see a list of, oh, look, yes, of,
One thing,
audio devices.
one thing I like about Zoom, no matter how it's set up for audio, if you plug in another device, it switches to that. It assumes if you plugged in a microphone while it's running, you probably want to use that new mic.
Is that Zoom doing that, or is that, Linux? Cause every time I do that with Linux, Linux assumes I wanna use that.
Yeah,
It-
I don't think so unless you've selected same as system,
Okay,
or it may just,
well, same as Vicente. Vicente, let's see if, he can unmute.
He's not even muted.
Vicente's not even muted. But his video's not working.
he doesn't show as having a microphone.
That's true. What a strange.
Hmm. Okay, let's see what Zoom is doing.
Okay, now Vicente has a mic.
Since they didn't have this plugged in.
But I don't hear Vicente talking. And there's Vicente.
Can you hear
Right.
it?
There he is.
Finally.
You're missing the goodies.
Why?
Do you
What's
need
that?
batteries?
Case? A
Battery.
case or a phone?
No, it's a free battery.
Oh,
And it's holding a good charge.
oh my God.
I have at least 50 of these things. And they're all you. They're all for you. And you're missing them.
Yeah,
They're iPhone 7 batteries. Ray gave them to me, thought that we could use them for robots or projects or something. You know, Steve's got one already taken apart.
Hmm.
And, you know, it's a fairly decent battery, so.
It's got a little boost charger in there.
So Art's having issues. He says that he cannot unmute himself. And you came in and unmuted yourself just fine, so I have no idea what's going on with Mr. Art.
Is he in California right now?
Yeah.
There's the problem.
It's not really fair. Art can't defend himself right now.
That's what makes it funnier.
Okay.
I may have to turn that AI companion thing off. I don't think I like that.
Well, you don't like every 5-minute update of what was said in the last 10 minutes?
That's what Art's seen. It's not. Let's see if I can. Bigger.
Are you aware of messages.gmail.com?
Oh, no.
You can use a real keyboard to type in that.
I'm going to share my screen.
EDC, right?
Hmm?
What's that
Yeah.
EDC, right?
EDC flashlight version 1. Model.
The
V.
host is not allowed.
Maybe Google that, see what comes up.
But
But
That's-
Vicente was able to connect. Of course, he's on Windows. I will give that. Pretty sure Art isn't. But I don't think this is a thing coming from your host session.
hey, Art, down where it says unmute, click that little arrow and see what's there. See if you have the wrong microphone selected or something. Cause I think that might be the problem. Well, his computer, if his desktop doesn't have a mic and he has
I know.
the headset plugged in, he might have it selected to the wrong one.
No, wait a minute. The name, like,
I don't know. I don't know. Are you hearing us, Vicente?
Yep, yep.
Yeah. It's odd to me that,
the tactical one that's 1,000 moves for 45.
Yeah, the little clusters in the back of the bill are supposed to be fluorescent and they just barely go.
No, you probably can turn off the remix.
Yeah, well, it really makes this thing glow bright.
For raging, not detecting stuff. Make the shirt glow white, dark. She got a white shirt.
So they dug this up at work today and said, hey, Steve, you want these? There's a pair of them. Ethernet to serial adapters from startech.com. They no longer sell these, but this is the thing that when I was working at Miami Systems, I wrote a device driver for that got included in SCO Open Server 504.
What do you drive, a mouse?
Oh, anything. It's just a serial port and it shows up as dev TTY
You tell them,
ERS.
you wrote the drivers for those?
Yeah. Even dug them off their website, off StarTech's website. So that's got my name in part of it.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was a loadable module and you'd give it, you'd load the module with the IP address of where this thing is. And it's routable. I mean, you can put a serial terminal 100 miles away. And it worked. We had a bunch of them at Miami Systems. We had, they had a 16-port version of these. I never got to play with that, but they had an 8-port version, and that's what we had in our Nashville office. And because it was either buy a $500 serial port thing or buy 6 people computers, because they already had serial terminals, and we kept those serial terminals till they just died. they were still using this thing in 2015 at least.
So it looks to me like he should be able to unmute himself and he should be able to start video. And he disappeared. So I have no idea.
You broke his stuff.
I think I would turn off that request local recording and request host to start cloud recording.
Okay. Oh, what the crap just happened there? Oh. How did I get full screen?
That is interesting. Huh. That's how I tend to run it.
Jeez.
It's
Zoom,
all good.
Click on view up at the top and it's in there for exit full screen.
Zoom is driving me crazy.
Could be worse.
It could be worse. I think I still have it because it was going to be a ham radio project. I have one of these.
Mhm.
It's got a DB25 on it.
Mhm.
And it's actually, I think an eight port
Really?
nine,
Nice.
it breaks out to 8-port 9-pin stereo.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It is cool as whatever. I don't think I've ever used it for anything, but it was gonna be a ham radio project
Yeah. Well,
because
when I was setting up SCO boxes with serial terminals, I had access to lots and lots of serial terminals and they were fun. For quite a while, I had one when we first moved out to Eastgate. I had a 2-car garage with a workshop in the back.
Mhm.
I had a serial terminal out there and there was one in the living room. They were connected to each other.
I got mine from, I think it was Donato's when
Mhm.
they upgraded from the
Yeah.
the TTY terminals.
Yeah.
They had eight TTY terminals. Actually, I think they had 16, but I got one of their
Oh, okay.
one of their 8-port.
Was it a StarTech or an
Yeah.
Equinox?
No, it was just like this, only it, instead of one serial port, it had
A breakout?
broke out to,
Okay.
and, I mean, it was, I got the power supply for it and everything.
Yeah.
Cause gotta have a power supply.
That uses an interesting power supply, 9 to 30 volts. Fuck it, just plug it into something.
That's pretty much
Back when people made real power bricks.
9 to 29 volts. Don't plug it into 30, it'll blow up.
Actually, the later ones were for 10 to 30. So I think the 9-volt just didn't quite do it, so,
Probably
Yeah,
lost
I
too
think-
much resistance in the.
yes.
I think the one that I had was, I wanna say it was 15
Mhm.
and 5 amps or some insane amount of power. I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever.
Power 8 devices with it.
Yeah, but you don't deliver power. over that.
You don't,
The current involved in RS-232 is 15 milliamps.
it's not
Not
much.
Though that's on a 24-volt swing, so yeah,
Drive some stuff on it, a little bit.
an LED. Like one of the things that I've done on one of these actually was run a tri-state LED off of device ready DTR
Mhm.
or DSR, data set ready.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
because you could set the first bit of Python I ever wrote was to set DSR
Parts back.
on or off.
Okay. Come on, Art.
You can do it.
You can do it. We're all rooting for you.
Hey, Can you hear us now?
I certainly can. You're a little quiet.
And we can hear you.
Just a moment. Let me change the.
We can see you. That's,
So what was the fix?
you rebooted your computer?
No, not at all. What I did is I rolled the Zoom version back to the one that was the first week in December.
Okay,
Last week, I had, last week between this meeting and the last meeting, I had done an upgrade.
okay.
And apparently, there's some kind of,
You just muted yourself.
yeah, I know. I'm just trying the buttons to see if they
He's
work,
playing around.
and they work. So,
Here too.
Ah,
USSH patch.
yeah,
Mm.
so the moral of the story is because I didn't upgrade, you had a problem.
Actually, I did an upgrade also.
I did not upgrade though. I didn't have time to do it
Okay.
this week.
That's the problem, okay.
So maybe it was,
I don't think so.
So you're saying I got ahead of myself.
we'll see what happens next week when I actually have time to upgrade.
Well, it's of course on Linux, it's trivial to upgrade. You just download the thing and then dpkg -i and point it at the
Yeah, I just
software. Hello?
having the grandkid, I just ran out of time to do stuff. So she wanted to play.
Oh, really?
her. I'll blame her. It's not
Well, I
really
don't
her
know.
issue.
Maybe it. Has anybody else done an upgrade to the most recent version?
No.
I did last week.
Well, I did this on the first, excuse me, the 31st of December. And I actually have used it on a Zoom session with my daughter and son-in-law since then. So it worked for them.
It's interesting. I have not upgraded this laptop for 2 weeks. I mean, it's been 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that is extremely weird. So,
well, at least you figured out what was going on.
well, I don't know that I figured out. I tried something, it worked. End of story. That doesn't mean I understand why it worked.
Well, I tried stuff too that didn't work. So.
But the bottom line is that rollback. I generally keep a couple of in my download folder. I generally keep a couple 3 versions, and I just rolled it back to the earliest one I had, and it worked like a champ.
Yeah. I actually have, when I download a new version, I actually change the file name to the date that I downloaded. So I'm kind of trying to do the same thing you're doing, just because they've been flaky in the past. They haven't been too bad recently, but they have been flaky in the past.
Well, you know, live and learn is, I guess, is a way of looking at it. But that was very strange. I could see you, I could hear you.
Well, the strangest part is everybody else that joined could unmute and do the video. You were the only one having that issue, which that was the strange part, I think.
Yeah, well, I think I just must have gotten on a version that's incompatible with the previous ones, and for some reason I couldn't make it work. So, at any rate, the funny thing is I have made that version work like 2-3 days ago. Yeah, 2-3, I guess about 4 days ago. So I don't know.
That's
Very
better.
strange.
Right.
Now I assume that
Do a quick double click. and
everybody but
release.
you and Steve are using Windows, and you and Steve are using Linux, right?
Yep. And Android.
Okay. Well,
That looks
again, that's
right.
really
Mhm.
strange.
Long time.
Long press, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Read in there anywhere?
we
So 1.5K would limit the current, if I remember right, down to like 5 milliamps. Because those red green LEDs were pretty bright.
what do you know the release schedule for the upgrade for 21.3?
No, but it's pretty soon.
It's gotta be
Glenn's
soon.
been talking about it on Reddit, and it's within the next 2 weeks.
It's gotta be.
Yeah.
He's seems like he's a little bit behind on that.
Mhm. Yeah, it happens.
I'm not mad. I'm just looking forward to the new stuff.
Yeah.
I had one of my machines is still running 20.3.
Mhm.
Because every time I try to use a printer, a certain printer, it does not want to work with 21.
Okay. HP.
Is that 21.1 or 0.2?
Any of the 20, any of the 21s.
Really?
Yeah, it doesn't want to work with them. It's an old brother,
Oh,
it's an old brother, label printer.
okay.
And brother actually had
Yeah.
the correct, they actually had a Linux driver for it, basically.
Well, it ain't correct. It installs a bunch of i386 stuff, but yeah.
I don't know if that, I think it actually had
All of the
a
brother,
64-bit
yeah,
thing, but
all of the brother install stuff for all of our laser printers does force installs of stuff.
okay.
And it's ugly, but it's never broken anything that I'm aware of.
Well, it works on 20.3, but it doesn't work on 21 dot whatever.
Really?
Yeah, it's something to do with the PostScript, because it keeps
Oh,
the error light that flashes on the printer.
mhm.
I looked up the error code that it was flashing, and it's a PostScript error, and I'm like, okay, I don't know how to fix that.
It's sending out newer PostScript.
Then what it
You
wants.
can edit the driver and tell it to limit the version of PostScript. It's in the PS.
Something.
You ever use the locate command?
Yeah,
Locate the printer name in all caps.
okay,
And it'll. There's a something.ts file that it should be able to. Hold on, let me see.
what, something just be,
We've confused the AI.
we confused the AI.
¿Trabaja en la oferita?
Ya, estoy en
It was
en
my
Zoom,
Sunday
en la
that beat me.
reunión.
Oh, okay, okay, sorry.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
My Sunday beeped. But that same machine, I've got one Arduino board that the board manager part of Arduino. It will work, it compiles, everything works great with it, but as soon as I try to use it on the 21 dot whatever machine, I get compile errors and fails and all kinds of stuff. And I'm just like, oh. So I've left the 20.3 machine as a legacy machine, basically, just to keep stuff working. But now 20.3 keeps saying, we got a new upgrade for you. Why aren't you upgrading? Please upgrade. I'm like, oh, stop bugging me. I want to keep you forever because it works. So I know that's still 20.3 still has some life to it though, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it should be fine. So basically, see, I don't, maybe I just don't understand because when I installed the driver,
Here we go.
shouldn't the driver have been limiting
It
what the PostScript is doing?
It pushes the driver into user share cups model printer name.ppd. Sorry, that's so tiny.
Okay.
And inside of that PPD file, you can tell it to limit the PostScript version.
Well, shouldn't it already be doing that?
Probably. But I've had to change that before.
Okay, I'll go and I'll see.
You may also find that there's an update for your printer.
The update does the same thing. I think the printer the printer may need a firmware upgrade that I
Yeah,
don't
that's
know.
what I mean.
Oh. Oh, apparently, further support pretty much ended for that with
Now,
providing a Linux driver. And
if you need a label printer, I've got some of the Dymo ones, and those are still, while not actively supported, they work fine in Linux.
I can't say that I need it. It's fun to have.
Handy, yeah.
I paid $5 for this label printer at an auction somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't know that, I didn't have any idea if it supported Linux or whatever, and I
Yeah.
got it home and I was happily surprised.
Is this one of the ones that the plastic tree that holds the roll of labels has pins on the bottom to identify the size of the labels? I had one at Reisenfeld that did that. It was kind of neat. But you could buy aftermarket labels at like 1/10 of the cost of the brother ones.
This one, it may. It has a whole roll of labels, and I haven't even gone through
Yeah.
a tenth of what was there, so. It does, somehow it does know what size label is in there, so.
Mhm.
When I do actually get, LibreOffice or something to print, it comes right up and says, this is the size of the label. I'm like, okay. I'll take your word for it. I actually figured that I would use that thing until all the labels were gone, and at that point, it probably will be so old, it'll probably be 50 years old at that point. But at that point, I won't need it anymore. I had an old HP laser printer that pretty much, I used it until it just,
Yeah.
plastic pieces were flying out of it.
I have had one with brother printers across the board.
Yeah.
They just seem to work. At least the laser printers. I'm not a big fan. I played with one brother color printer, and they took it off the market. This was a long time ago.
I should tell you something.
And I don't think they've made an inkjet since. I appreciate that they keep reusing the engine. So there's like 10 printer guts and then 120 printer bodies.
Brother came out of nowhere and just kind of started to dominate HP. I mean,
That didn't
especially
take much
in-
when HP decided to quit investing in printing.
well, yeah, especially in the industrial market. I mean,
Yeah.
some of the industrial brother firms are just incredible.
Had a warehouse for a while that had a bunch of HP 4000s that they had run for years. Another printing company, specialty envelope, and they just decimated those poor HPs. It took a long time, but then repairing them was not cost effective. And they replaced $800 HP 4000s with $200 brother somethings, I don't know. 1440s, HL 1440s. And those things ran as long as the HPs did. And when they died, they just threw them out and got new ones.
Yeah. Well, that one of my friends had a shop, mail and, a shipping place, and they had a bunch of HPs and bought them all used because it was cheaper to buy them used. Started having all kinds of problems, and she went out to Staples and saw the brothers.
Yeah.
Got some brothers, and that's all they ever used from then on. I'm like, yeah. I mean, HP was those 4000s, and a lot of them, they were just workhorses. They would work until they died.
At one point, I had an HP 5 in my living room.
Yeah.
And that was,
Yeah. Even the HP color stuff was.
Yeah.
They just worked until they did. Once they were dead, they were.
the
Not
turning
worth
point
fixing.
for HP was when they started releasing printers under the Apollo brand. I think it was Apollo. And you could buy a $19 printer that came with a regular cartridge in it, and the cartridge was worth $21 when you had to buy another one.
Yeah,
And
I
so you
remember,
just buy another printer.
I remember Canon did the same thing.
Ah,
You go to Walmart and buy
Yep.
a Canon printer for $20 and the cartridge was $30. but it came with a full cartridge, so
Yeah.
why buy a cartridge when you buy a printer for?
I,
My kid, he actually, he showed me his brother, and they said, "You want a printer?" He had
well,
15, 20 rings on there. I'm not buying a $30 cartridge when they give me a cartridge.
no, this was,
No,
a
they
long
were,
time ago, HP released a brand called Apollo.
and they were real cartridges.
Yeah, it had a regular, normal cartridge.
That probably led them to the whole putting chips in the
Yeah.
thing, because they probably lost a ton of money on that deal.
Well, I know a lot of them anymore, they do like a small cartridge.
Mhm.
It'll be a
And
regular,
HP is worst for that.
so they'll be like, you know, it might be a, you know, like a
1,000
brother,
page.
like, yeah, but instead of being like a 1,500, it'd be like a 500 page
Mhm.
cartridge. Yeah, ink, I hate ink, just to get you started, so you have to buy a cartridge, but then a regular cartridge you go for, like, at least in the laser, they go for
Years.
2,500 or 500 or 5,000 pages or something.
Yeah,
Instead of like-
my laser printer, I bought 2 cartridges they were aftermarket, refurbished, whatever, reshipped. And it was like $20 for 2 cartridges. And the old cartridge that was in there ran out last year, so I really just broke into these new cartridges. This thing will last forever.
I was driving somewhere once, headed into Hamilton, I think, and I saw a yard sale. And I saw that specific blue and white box. Oh, pulled in, new inbox, fit my machine. I forget what it takes now, but it's like a T710 or 720 or something. How much? I don't know. I don't even know what it is. I'll give you $5 for it.
Sure. Why not? I just gotta get rid of stuff.
Yep. That house has had a few yard sales. It's on that long hill going into Hamilton from Howard New London Road.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I stopped there once and there was a woman obviously selling her husband's toys. It was a couple old world engines, transmitters, and boxes of servos. I mean, yeah, technically you weren't supposed to be using this stuff anymore because it was wideband frequencies, but if you're not going to a club, nobody's gonna yell. It was in good condition. I picked up a World Engines Frankel engine about that big. I wonder where that thing is. I bet one of my kids.
There was years ago, drove down Roosevelt, and there was a guy on the corner of Roosevelt and Eaton having a garage there. And he had a stair climber, which I happen to know what it was because I had gone to a school auction, and they had some of these stair climbers that you put a wheelchair on them, and it made old buildings accessible.
Yeah.
And it was cheaper than putting in elevators or tearing the building down and rebuilding. But these things were going on eBay for $3,000. So I had picked them up at this auction, and batteries were bad.
Yeah.
We could verify that they at least worked, but you know, they needed new batteries. We sold them for like $2,000 a piece. So when I'm cruising down and I see it,
With $100 worth of batteries.
I saw it out of the corner of my eye, and I slammed on my brakes. I almost, a semi truck almost hit me. I turned around real fast and went up there and I said, oh, this is interesting.
What is it?
What is it? I don't really know. My kid got it. Give me $50 for it. You take 30?
Oh.
Yeah, give me $30. Called my friend up because I was in a little car.
Yeah.
I called my friend up. I said, bring me the truck
The truck.
and bring me some cash.
Yeah.
This guy had a bunch of stuff, and I think all said and done, we walked out of his auction with $6,000 worth of stuff that we paid maybe $100 for.
Nice.
Cause he didn't know what the stuff was. And, my buddy at the time, he was even better negotiator than I was. He was like, are you really sure that's worth $30? And I was like, I don't know. It was like
25.
25. Guy said, no, we already made a deal for 30. Okay. Kept trying to get a better deal. Like, shut up. It's already a good deal. It would have been a good deal at 50. I mean, he had the charger.
Oh, nice.
It would have been a good deal if you said 100.
I was watching the American Pickers last night. I guess the newer season or whatever, and I found I think it's like the third generation or something, but they were older, that owned this building, and they were trying to get rid of all their grandfather's stuff. The building next door caught fire like 8 years ago, and when they put that fire out, it flooded the basement of this building or whatever, so a lot of the stuff is kind of shot. But they hung on to some of the stuff, but they had a old barber light,
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
and they plugged it in, it all still worked, and it spun and everything, and they had the barber sign and everything, and
Those things are worse than money.
the guy that owned the place goes right off the bat, so we'll take 150, and he just like, oh, hell no. So I can pay you 750, and the guy like, okay, yeah. But then that was what was funny, because then they it was like, all right, you just gave him $600 more than he asked for, and then they're doing him out of $10 on the sign he wants in the next room, It was like,
Well, they still have to have some deals, right?
yeah, well, I thought it was funny. It's like, all right, we just gave you an extra $600. I want, he's like, want this little sign for $50. It's cracked and broken, and they're like, well, will you do 60? And I'm thinking, okay, like, yeah, it's nuts. I don't know why you
That's
yank
all.
somebody around that gave you an extra $600 on a barber sign.
It's almost like Linus Tech Tips did a video where he found a struggling computer store and went in and basically
bought the
bought
place out.
everything
Yeah.
in that store. He spent a crap ton of money doing
Oh
it.
yeah, dude. I don't think he hurts for money.
No,
His show makes me sick.
yeah. But
I almost cry watching any of his videos anymore.
he had,
I did like the one where he and Electroboom or whatever the guy's name is, were checking to see how susceptible to static computers were.
Oh yeah.
He got zapped a few times.
Ray's here. Yeah, but he was doing the same thing. I mean, he doesn't really care how much he pays for that stuff.
Yeah.
But
They'll get
the
it
guy
back.
said, $1,000 for something, and he goes, I don't know, maybe 700. He had already spent $4,000 or $40,000. Who cares about another $1,000?
I know.
I mean,
But I mean,
he walked out of there spending like $50,000.
You watch some of those episodes where they send him like $100,000 worth of hardware for free?
That's no million now.
Huh?
He's got $1 million server.
At least.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I mean,
I've seen where his workbench is probably $100,000 workbench.
yeah. Well, he's got they opened a new office space, right? So he's stepping back or whatever and
Mhm.
having more guys do more of the work or whatever, but but yeah, like when he builds his NAS, the like company sent him like, was it 38 terabyte SSDs at $60,000 for free for his video editing station.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there, yeah, that's great. He's like, what? He's like, yeah, these racks are awesome, you know. It's like my buddy put me one, you know, because it was some Canada company. It's like the racks, you know, trying to sell, you know, how great these racks were, you know. And the price of the racks are a commercial grade rack for like $1,500 or something for instead of buying a Dell or HP one. Great price, but then it's like you slap $60,000 worth of drives and you didn't have a dime in any of it. And I'm like, must be nice.
Yeah.
I haven't been anywhere recently to any auction. The last auction I went to that had server cases, server racks. Auctioneer could not do those things away.
No, nobody wants anything old.
And he ended up grouping them all together. I think he ended up selling 50 cases for like $5.
Yeah,
If you get to one of those and you find a half height.
Yeah.
Rack with doors on wheels. I'll
See,
give
now you've added stuff to it.
very specific what I want, but I'll go $400 for that.
You get it on Marketplace probably tonight.
Mm.
You might have to drive to Columbus to go get it, but
That's on Facebook, right? I don't do Facebook.
just saying.
It's just ask Ray about driving around
Yeah.
to pick stuff up, but Ray's muted and his video's off.
He's got the newest version.
Raise update.
He's on his iPhone. He can hear us, but he can't talk to us.
Probably going, what's wrong? Cause Ray's got the current
We
version.
might have some version conflicts going on, Ray.
Oh, no, he just unmuted.
It's all good. What's going on?
Well, I'm trying to give away batteries, but you see Vicente and Art aren't here. I gave away some of them though.
Like I said, if you don't want them,
You tell everybody they're like $1 million and then they'll take them for free, right?
then I'll put them in my trunk if you don't want them. I might tinker with them.
I actually was kind of surprised. Some of the ones down the bottom of the box had a charge on them. It had a good charge on them, so. It's a
Okay.
good-
And Barry still has an iPhone 7.
So Barry's
Use the smart glass and everything.
Barry's going to find great uses for his batteries. And, next week,
I got a few more.
yeah, I told him. He's got like at least 8 more boxes of these things.
Jesus.
But next week, you need to come in, Vicente, and get your free batteries. You're muted. You need to come and get your free batteries. And we will be in person again next week. I didn't say that.
Yes.
Already.
And,
Is
I
it
did-
required?
I did text,
Quadcopter.
I did text Jim. I still haven't heard anything from Jim, so I don't know what's going on.
Mm,
You go out of
but
town?
Well, it's been, at this point, it's been 3 weeks since I've heard from him or seen anything from him or,
You said he was out of town?
no, I
No, I
don't.
was just asking
we
if
don't
you
know.
went out of town for Christmas or something. I would have thought if something happened, you'd have heard from somebody by now.
I would have thought, but
But she didn't, she just let us know when he went in the hospital.
It was a couple of weeks though. She was a little slow about letting us know. Eventually she did, and I was hoping that Gail would have.
Anybody got his cell number? Text him.
I haven't.
Okay.
I've texted him a couple, 3 times now.
He just doesn't like us anymore.
I mean, honestly, I don't know what, you know, he had that stroke in
Yeah.
2020.
Okay.
During all that COVID stuff, he had a stroke.
You think that maybe a recurrent thing?
Yeah, I don't know. I hope he's all right, but not knowing is, I may just have to drive by his house. See what's up. He's got all those cameras,
Yeah, he'll know you.
he'll know I'm there.
He's been sending his messages, but his his phone battery's dead.
His phone, that's it. He needs one of these.
His phone battery's dead.
We'll solder him 4 together and give him an extra powerful phone.
Yeah, we'll have to convert him to USB-C, but that'll be all right.
Whatever.
But, I just wanted to let you guys know I have tried. I just don't know what's. I also still have that projector in the car. If anybody wants that projector,
Oh, yeah, anybody else want a projector?
it's a
I
nice
have-
projector.
Projector. Yeah, I'm good.
Do you want that projector, Ray?
We got a
No, I'm
J
good.
Professional mini projector.
A Dr. J Professional Mini.
I got the itty bitty, barely viewable in the pitch black dark projector.
I have that, mine needs to be in a fairly dark area, but
Jufu Kang Electronics.
nice.
Yeah, I think mine runs on one candle light. Literally one candle.
Mine's better than that. Mine's an HDMI, I think it's 720p. It might be a 1080,
This
but
one might be 1080. I haven't looked it up yet, but
it does have a bunch of inputs on it. It's got a ton of like 2 VGA.
RGB, S video,
Yeah, it's got all that
raw
stuff.
video.
It's got component and composite and VGA and HDMI. It's got
HDMI. Ooh. Okay.
They're selling a projector at Aldi's right now for about
Oh,
$7. I don't know what the actual resolution is, but it was part of a set. You could buy the projector and an inflatable screen.
nice.
Okay.
Well,
yeah, this is a 7500 lumen.
mine, I
That's
don't
pretty bright.
know what my looms are.
1080p. They're about $45 on Amazon.
I know the price for mine is right. I even have the remote for it, and
Well, I left it because I told them, because they didn't know where the cords were at the moment. And you get the cord on the boat. Me.
I have the remote for mine.
But I figured somebody.
Is that a wired remote?
No, it is not a wired remote. It is a remote remote. Mine has a Wi-Fi option, which I don't quite understand, but it has a Wi-Fi option. It doesn't have the Wi-Fi card in it, but it has the option.
Oh, weird.
It does.
I get on my projector. It does have a Wi-Fi option, and I bought the Wi-Fi device for it. The frame rate is pretty slow, but if all you're doing is like presentation, basic presentation, showing a picture of this, changing slides, stuff like that, then you don't need gaming type frame rate.
Yeah. Well, this one came from a classroom, from a school, so I'm figured that that's what they were doing. It's mostly presentations, but I have watched movies on it. It works perfectly fine for watching movies. I wouldn't want to play a game on it. It would be too.
We had one built into the ceiling in Joyful, that was hotspot Wi-Fi. Like I guess you just, I never messed with it much. They joined it and were trying to play a video of the company. It's like,
Yeah,
and they were like, "Why didn't it work?" I'm like, "I don't know. I didn't even know it was in the ceiling."
well, it's got Ethernet, which I've never hooked up to Ethernet either. I don't. It's got all these other ports, but I thought the Ethernet was for control. I
Yeah,
thought it
I'm
was a
pretty
control
sure
port.
it is. Most things, that's what it does.
I thought there was,
Breakout.
no, I thought it was
No,
like,
you can use it to remotely set brightness and
Oh, wow.
contrast and that sort of
Like
stuff.
an old console cable for.
no,
Cisco
I
stuff
think
with
it actually
RJ45
does.
to
I think you go to like 192.168. Whatever, and it's got all the console controls, so you don't need the remote.
Celestron sells
what they're saying. You gotta
stuff to connect to those.
plug into it somehow from the
Absolutely.
RJ45. Yeah.
But it's in the car if anybody wants it. I'm getting the impression that I'm the only fool that wanted this thing in the first place.
I have 3 projectors. I'm
I-
using 0 of them.
I was just saying, the projector I have came from him.
Oh,
The one he gave me for 2,600 years ago. It's still in my backpack. I think we used it one time. And then,
So you actually have more projectors than you know.
I don't recall this, but okay.
well, you had that black one that was about yay big or something you gave me
Okay.
for 2,600 meetings because the one that I was such a pile of crap.
Okay.
You want a bag? I mean, I can feel free to,
Well, I have no idea where it came from.
it's sitting in the top drawer of my file cabinet now because we haven't done a 2,600 meeting in 5 years.
My apartment, I actually hooked it up and I bought blackout curtains and the whole 9 yards, and I watched 4 or 5 movies with it, bought a new bulb, watched some more movies with it. But my apartment's so small that having a projector on a screen or on a wall that is very close didn't make a whole lot of sense. It's almost like the size of my TV.
Yeah.
I mean, so it was.
How bright is the projector? How bright is it?
I don't know what the actual looms is. It's not bright. It's.
Look up the model. You can tell him.
I don't know what the
I looked
model
at
is
mine.
anymore either.
But the people I fixed the computer on Thursday want me to take.
I've tried to pawn this off.
Which I
3 or
gotta
4
say,
weeks
it's
now. Nobody.
a little bit of a chore to reset a password on a computer on Windows 10 when the account on the computer was on the cloud.
Oh, yeah.
That's a little bit of a chore.
It was, I was expecting like a 5-minute, just go in there, pop it, reset the password to blank and roll.
Mm-hmm.
And I rolled in there and there was no local accounts, there's no admin, there's nothing to set blank to log into.
You could have gotten around it on the local computer if you disconnected it from the network.
Well, it was, but there
Okay.
are no accounts locally when you join on an Office Microsoft account.
Yeah,
So there's nothing to
thought it
set to blank,
I thought it's still thinking.
and it disables all the local, so even your local administrator is disabled and non-existent. So yeah, that was entertaining.
They've made some changes because but like,
Yeah.
you can just unhook and
Yeah.
Yeah,
at
so
least
you
get
have
to the
like-
admin account.
You actually have to like re-enable the admin account. And, yeah, and then I have, and then being,
Probably too many people knew the exploit to get
well,
around.
the other problem too is that being Windows 10 Home, it made a lot more
Oh.
sense why sysprep didn't work and why net user didn't work and why I couldn't create a user. Yeah,
Yeah.
lots of fun. But finally once I could log in as the administrator, I did a reset computer from the control panel
Mhm.
because I couldn't create any users.
Weird.
Was it in S mode?
It was the kid, I guess, logged into a Microsoft logged in with a Google account on Microsoft, right? And then it
Yeah.
had him set a PIN and he forgot his PIN and he was locked out.
I will never forget my pin.
So I thought, well, okay, I never even thought about it being tied into that. I just figured he set a password. And they told me he set a password, didn't remember what it was the next morning. I'm like, cool, I can go in, net use, set blank. And I went to the users folder and the user folders are like blank and like, that's weird. And, like,
Yeah, that's real weird.
you know,
you encrypt the hard drive?
and, I was like, there was like a guest, like 2 default, like failed login, should have generated or something at some point. Anyhow, there was not a normal user, anything there. I was like, oh, that's great. But then when I was in the control panel under the administrator and saw Windows 10 Home, I said, well, that makes a whole lot more sense. Cause I thought I could just net use and do sysprep and then just reboot the computer twice and then ready to roll. But redoing my office computer the other day, there's a new procedure in 10, like 21 and up, that you can go do like a factory restore from the control panel, and you can either opt to save your data or just smoke the machine,
Mhm.
and 10 will install itself over itself with the current version.
That's
Which is
interesting.
kind of nice,
Yeah. How
actually.
does it do that, I wonder?
It goes out and pulls down the stuff and just nukes what's not supposed to be there, I guess, and replaces everything with the current. But it took care of all the drivers and everything. I didn't have to do squat. I was kind of impressed
Yeah.
for a non-commercial computer. Cause this was somebody built, it was a gaming computer somebody built.
It's been years since I
Well,
messed
that's-
with any of that stuff.
I hadn't done it on 10. I've reset a password or two on 10 the old style way. And I was like, I was really shocked to see that all, but then I said, once it was home, realized it was home, it made a lot more sense why the PowerShell commands weren't working and the sysprep was like, that's not a valid command. I'm like, since when?
That should be.
You can convert home to pro.
Yeah. You need a,
It takes a while.
well, you can tell it to, if you give it a fake key too, but
Hey, Leroy, I got a
Hey,
question
Al.
for you.
I got
Have we ever established a club location that's not like the library? Something where, almost like a makerspace where we can leave projects to work on? You can leave a bunch of batteries there or work on a robot or something?
Ray wants to get rid of more batteries.
have you ever
Are you
visited
laughing about that?
Hive, Ray? They don't like you doing that,
Now,
but it's not like they stop you.
now, we have never really established that, but, I mean,
Tuesday, they're doing crocheting craft at the Hive as an open project night.
Ray,
Just saying.
You still going down there?
Jim,
I've never been to the new building.
Really?
Jim had
You have
kind
to
of
have your
rejected the
vaccination shot
idea,
and all that crap to even be allowed in the
Um,
building. So I've never bothered. to go.
cause he thought that
I don't know. if
like
they still
somewhere in
try to
like
require that or
Middletown
not.
was too far
I was
away,
Considering the region. I mean,
that
Where
the library is more central
it
to
depends on
everybody.
whether Nancy's still there.
Yeah.
I haven't
I-
been
I
to the new
mean,
building at all.
I
We're so
I
confused
personally
about
would love like
being
get a
vaccinated,
makerspace
wearing your
closer
mask.
to me, but
The last I heard,
he's
this is the
right.
first open
Everybody
thing I got. in the
really
email
is more southern than us.
About
We're to the
a
north.
month ago.
So
I
it really
found
is,
out that
the
most
library
of the
really
infos are
is
still
more of
good
a
there.
central
I can
spot.
log into all this stuff.
Well, we got, but me, you, and Jim are the only ones north of 275.
Yeah, but we've got, Art, Vicente, Steve and Barry are all southeast,
Yeah.
east, yeah. So, I mean, the library really is more central to everybody. So,
We could always just meet at Ray's place.
see, that's what Ray is getting at, I think. But,
Oh,
but
so we could.
I'm not trying to
do we
push
get
that.
Prototype laser machines while we're visiting.
Jim's always kind of rejected the idea of meeting in Middletown because he doesn't think that you people from that end of town
You know,
would want to go to Middletown.
if there's a laser involved, that could be persuasive.
Wait,
visit.
At
Few
one
times.
point, I mean, during,
I'd like to play.
I know, during the big,
If we establish a clubhouse, I promise there will be a metal engraving laser there and a CO2 laser there.
at one point during the pandemic or right after, we had even considered going down to
I know this
Like,
building in
once
Felicity.
a week or once a month instead of 4 times a month for the meeting, because the library had changed. We can only get the meeting room here twice, but Zoom makes virtual meetings nice, so.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's really overly opposed to it, but Jim was just thinking this was more of a central location to everybody.
I agree.
I
So,
get
It's
pretty good.
definitely more centralized. And I think it would be quite a drive for Al or Steve to go up to Middletown.
yeah.
It's asking a lot. But if you wanted to work on a bigger project and you knew you had tools, a laser, and air compressor and a bunch of other stuff available, and you had space to build stuff, that would be nice.
I think it'd be fun.
Yeah, Barry wants an invitation to come and see the lasers.
Hey Barry, when you want to come? Anytime you want to come.
Anytime works for you, sir.
I'm this all day
doesn't
tomorrow,
realize he could just go
Saturday
there.
and Sunday.
Do what?
I'll be there all day tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday. Are you looking for something 2 or 3 weeks in advance or what?
Oh,
Daytime,
whatever
weekend?
works for you. Should I bring a truck?
What do you want to take home?
Whatever falls out the back.
Whatever comes out the back garage door. Huh? I got a crap ton of skids and extra wood right now.
I don't think Barry's ever actually been there to
I've never
play
seen it.
with one of the lasers at all.
Nope.
Oh, well,
And we still haven't gone to the military robot shop either.
The what?
yeah, I know. They
Are they shafting you?
ask them again if they're available. It's Lear Robotics up in Dayton. That's too far for you guys to drive, right?
No.
No. Not for that kind of thing.
Not when we're gonna watch bomb disposal robots play.
Those robots are freaking cool, man.
We wouldn't know. We haven't been invited yet.
There's
We've just
the
seen pictures.
okay. I'll give him a holler. See if the little up there.
Hate to do this because we're getting good, but it's 7 o'clock. We gotta vacate the room.
Yeah. We
Oh,
need
are the knitters there tonight?
No, but the library
But the natterers are.
is already, you know,
The library had an issue today. There was 5 cops when I got here and police tape, so.
Really?
Yeah. All the kids.
It was
were-
people using the rooms for too long.
That's
Over there a lot of block of hours.
yeah,
I
something
think
like that.
some kids
I'll see.
had a pretty serious fight.
We'll be in person next week, and I will be here if no one else is. So I'll see you guys later.
Take care.
Bye.
My phone number.
Have a good one.
Okay.